This tutorial will show you how to achieve the makeup look for the Chelsea Dagger color guard show this year. One of the things that I use before I start anything else is a foundation primer. This is an optional step, but I really like to use it because if I'm sweating a lot or anything like that, it helps keep my foundation set really nicely on my face. It helps keep it from running. So I just use a tiny little pump and I smear it all over my face. Next, I use foundation. You can use any foundation you want. I like to use Neutrogena because I think it's a little bit better for my skin. But anything really works. Just, you want something that matches your skin tone, and if you have to err on the side of lighter or darker, err a little bit lighter because we're going to contour our faces as well. So you can use makeup sponges to put this on too. I just use my fingers because I'm lazy and it's a little bit quicker. It's really not a very good reason, but that's why I do it. Make sure you cover everything on your face and get underneath your chin here too. And blend it a bit to make sure that you don't have any kind of makeup line. Use any sort of concealer. Now's the time to do that. You can use some under your eyes or some like right here if you want, or to cover any blemishes you might have. I actually don't have any concealer, so I'm skipping that step today. Next, you'll go on to some sort of powder. Again, I like Neutrogena, but you can use any kind of powder. You can use loose or pressed. I'm using a pressed powder. This helps to set the foundation a little bit. Again, as far as color goes, you want to match your skin tone. And if you have to err on the side of darker or lighter, err on the side of a little bit lighter than your skin tone. You can apply this like this, just with the pad that comes with it. Or sometimes I use a blush brush that I've got just to kind of, that gets a little bit messier, but sometimes can be applied a little bit faster. What I like to do is contour my face a little bit for performances because it will accentuate the jawbones and just some of the facial features. So you're going to want some sort of bronzer or a foundation powder maybe that's too dark for your skin. I'm just using a mineral bronzing powder by Marky Kay. It's just what I happen to have on hand. Anything like that will work. And I'm taking a nice blush brush, and then I'll take that. We want to apply the contour underneath the cheekbone, kind of like right in front of the ear, and we want it darker closer to the ear, and then pull it out a little bit and blend that nicely. So the darkest place should be closest to your ear. I'm going to contour underneath my jawbone, not on the edge of it. We want that to be a little bit lighter, but underneath of it, and also right along my hairline. I also like to take an eyeshadow brush and do a little bit right on the insides of my nose. And the key, again, is just to make sure it's nice and blended. The final step for the face is blush. I have a Marky Kay blush that I use. You don't want it to be too pink or too red. You want it to be more of a natural blush color, so maybe like not an orange or something, but try a few things out and see what you like. And we're going to apply the blush to the cheekbone area, starting about right below the eye and just moving forward to the apple of the cheek, and blend that really nicely too. You don't need to use a ton of blush, just enough to make your cheeks kind of rosy, and blend that in. Now for the eyes, it's best to use some sort of primer. You can use just your normal foundation for a primer for your eyes if you don't have one, or if you have some sort of really light colored liquid white eyeshadow or something like that, you can use that as well. I'm using a Color Tattoo Metal by Eyestudio in a really light, like white color, essentially. It's kind of like a liquid eyeshadow, and I use that as my primer. So I'm going to apply that all over my eye, all the way up to the brow. So for the show, we're using golds and browns. for the eyeshadow, we want something that looks kind of natural actually from far away. So I like to start and end always with a really light white color. This is a Velocity powder in gold. It actually looks more white to me. And it's just a loose weight powder, so you can see, maybe you can see, it's just like loose. And I take my eyeshadow brush, or you can use your finger, and I apply this starting out underneath my eyebrow and in the corners of my eye. Next, we're going to use some sort of a gold color. Mine is Gold Leaf by Marky Kay, but you can use anything that's similar in color to this. As you can see, I use this one a lot, but this is just like a gold or a light brown or something like that. And again, I'm going to take my eyeshadow brush. I'm going to get as much color on there as I can, and I'm going to fill in my entire eyelid and also a big area above the crease. So I'm not going all the way up to the very top, but about a brush width above the crease with that gold color. Next, we're going to add the kind of a dark outside, and it's going to be kind of winged a little bit. You're going to want to find as dark a brown color as you can, really, really dark. Using Color Tattoo Pure Pigments. Improper Copper is the name of this one. I like this stuff. It's 24-hour wear. It's loose powder like the first kind that I used instead of pressed. And then I'm using this. This is a more angled eyeshadow brush. If you don't have an eyeshadow brush like this, I'd recommend using like something that might come with an eyeshadow, one of those foam Q-tip kinds. Because we're going to try to get something a little bit more defined in terms of shape here. So I'm just going to start. You can pull your eye like this if it helps. I'm going to do a straight line coming out from the edge of my eye. And I'm going to go up along this whole colored area that I did before. And I'm going to make a little V, essentially, in the corner of my eye there. And do that on both sides. Try to make it even. What I'm going to do is just color in that V with my brown. So you can even make just a straight line down and color it in. Like that. And then take just a little bit on the end of your brush. Make a really narrow line right in the crease of your eye. And then using your other brush, the softer one or your finger, just kind of blend the edges of that dark shadow a bit. To top it off, I take a little bit of the white again and put it right up here against my eyeshadow, or against my eyebrow to make it pop a little bit more. And just a tiny bit in the corners. Now for the eyeliner. This is the most important part of the eyes, in my opinion, because this is what's going to make them pop. I like to use a liquid eyeliner on the top. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. If you're more comfortable or experienced with a pencil, that's fine too. But we're going to basically line the eyes, and we want a little bit of a wing on the end. So I like to take and I just stretch my eye like this so that it's tight. And I draw a line. All the way across. Try to make that line nice and even. And a little bit thicker on the outside than on the inside. And then I take that at the ends and I just draw a line kind of along the wing of the color that I had before. Just like that. You're going to want to do the bottom of your eyes as well and line the bottom of your eyes. I like to use just a pencil, one of these ones that cranks up. This one is, I think it's CoverGirl Ink It. There's a lot of different kinds like this. Make sure you're using black eyeliner both for the top and the bottom, even if you're fair-haired and fair-skinned, because again, from the audience, it's going to look really awesome. If you're using too light of a color, it's not going to be dramatic enough to see from the audience. I like to just use this on my waterline, and to do that I just pull down here and I draw right there, right above my eyelashes. If you've never done this before, it can be really intimidating to do this because if you slip, obviously you're going to get it right in your eye. So the key is to pull it down and away. And if you don't want to do that, then go ahead and line underneath your eyelashes instead of lining your watermark. That's fine too. Just make sure that you're getting the line as close to your eyes, as close to your eyelids as possible. For the lashes, I like to curl them. Just take my eyelash curler like this. Make sure you don't get it too close to your eyelid because then you're going to end up taking off your eyeliner. Curl it like that. Just a little on each side. And then mascara of choice. Any mascara works. This is a Neutrogena Healthy Volume waterproof mascara. Now to do eyebrows, make a line right at the edge of where your brow should start and kind of outline your eyebrows and then fill that in a little bit on each side. This is just adding definition essentially. And then I like to take an eyeshadow brush. I like to take that angled one and just kind of pull the color through my eyebrows a bit so that they end up being a little darker and more defined towards the inside. My eyebrow pencil comes with a gel to hold it in place. It basically looks like this little mascara brush. And I just take that and add a little bit there, even it out to hold them in. For my lips, I like to use a lip liner. You can either use one that matches the lipstick that you're going to be wearing, or I just buy like a clear one. Works just as good, and you can use it with any lip color. Just use it to line your lips, and then this will help the color stay in place. And finally, we're going to finish off the look with some lips. We want a lipstick that is red. We don't want a bright red or a bright pink or anything like that. We don't want it to be super dark, but we want it to be like a deep color. So think somewhere along these lines. This one's obviously well loved and used. I've used it for a lot of performances. But a nice deep color is going to help our lips stand out the most. So you want a shade that's along these lines. It does not have to be quite this dark. This just happens to be what I have on hand. It can be this dark, but don't make it like hot pink or something like that. Think deep as far as color goes instead of bright. So that's it. That's the hair and the makeup. I hope you found these tutorials helpful. If you have questions, just let me know.